Today I am going to deal with the topic Ophioglossum. Ophioglossum is a lower fern. Of course, it belongs to Pteropsida only. The classification of Ophioglossum is, it belongs to Pteropsida, Ophioglossales, Ophioglossacea. In fact, it belongs to the subclass Eusparangiaceae. Eusparangiaceae contains those members in which the sporangial development is somewhat different. A group of sporangial initials are involved in the formation of the sporangium. Coming to Ophioglossum, in Ophioglossum there are two important species, Ophioglossum vulgatum, Ophioglossum palmatum. Ophioglossum palmatum is an epiphyte, whereas Ophioglossum vulgatum is a terrestrial plant. Normally, it is found in moist, rich area. In tropical areas, preferably in deeper areas of the forest, we can see Ophioglossum growing luxuriantly. Coming to the morphology of Ophioglossum. The plant body of Ophioglossum is called sporophyte, and the sporophyte can be differentiated into root, rhizome and the leaves. The roots are almost slender, thin, delicate. Of course, they help in anchorage and absorption. Coming to the rhizome, it is the stem. It is underground in nature and it is rhizomatous, tuberous, bulky and brown in color, and it is studded with the so-called ramenta. Coming to the very important part of Ophioglossum, that is the leaves. As in all other ferns, even in Ophioglossum, leaves are very characteristic. And the special feature with respect to the leaves of Ophioglossum is only one leaf per season is seen. That is the speciality, and of course it is because of the slow growth of the leaf bud. The leaf primordium is very slow in its growth. So, in a given season we can see only one particular leaf. The leaf possesses the basal elongated petiole and a much dilated, highly dignified lamina region, and at the junction of the lamina and the petiole, the reproductive organ fertile spike arises. Coming to the lamina is broad and the lamina possesses reticulate venation, and to be very precise, it is open dichotomous venation. In fact, in case of Ophioglossum, the leaf is very significant because it produces a megaphyllous nature. And normally the leaves are helpful in photosynthetic activity, and even here, since they are very bright green in color, they do help in photosynthesis. Coming to the reproductive organs of Ophioglossum, the sporophyte reproduces asexually by the formation of spores, and the spores are produced within sporangia, and the sporangia are found in special bands called by the name sporangiogenic bands. In fact, the sporangiogenic bands are found at the terminal region of the fertile spike. Normally, the fertile spike possesses a very long stalk and the terminal set of sporangiogenic bands. Now, when the longitudinal section of the sporangiogenic band is taken, it shows the central axis and surrounded by the sporangiogenic band. Each sporangiogenic band can be compared to that of an embedded type of sporangium. Here the sporangium possesses multi-layered wall and a well-defined tapetal layer and a mass of sporogenous tissue. In fact, the sporogenous tissue at a later stage function as spore mother cells, and the spore mother cells undergo meiosis, producing the spores. In Ophioglossum, normally the spores are of homosporous type. Only one type of spores are found, and these spores are alike in their structure as well as configuration. And at the time of maturity, the spores are liberated due to the dehiscence of the sporangiogenic bands, and they are disseminated through the wind and fall on a suitable substratum and start the second generation of the plant, that is the gametophytic generation. In fact, the gametophyte in Ophioglossum is a very tiny structure. It is more or less slender, delicate and subterranean, and depending upon the conditions, it may be either saprophyte or it may be an autotroph. An autotroph by definition is an organism which can prepare its own food. Now, the gametophyte, that is the second phase in the life cycle of Ophioglossum, produces the sex organs archegonia as well as antheridia. Antheridia are the male sex organs, whereas archegonia are the female sex organs. Antheridium is a tiny globular structure having a small stalk and globular antheridial head, and when the TS of the antheridial head is taken, it shows numerous androcytes, and at a later stage these androcytes, they undergo metamorphosis, producing the multiflagellated antherozoids or the spermatozoids, which are nothing but the male gametes. The archegonium is much similar to the archegonium that is found in many other ferns. It has a typical flask-shaped structure with a broad basal region called venter and a narrow region called neck. And the neck region is surrounded by the neck cells, and internally it encloses a huge canal, that is neck canal. And the neck canal contains the neck canal cells. The venter region possesses the venter canal cell as well as the egg cell, and at the time of fertilization, neck canal cell as well as the venter canal cells, they obliterate, leaving a passage, and the male gamete come and fuse with the female gamete, producing the diploid zygote. Then the zygote develops into the sporophyte. This is how the life cycle continues in Ophioglossum. Thank you very much.